as a referee from
Hello and welcome
India.
to the National Squash Centre here in KL Sports City, Bukit Jalil. We're coming to you live at the moment on Toggle.
As a referee from Hong Kong, China.
As we just introduce the referees, it's the women's team final for squash.
Is Navid Kashif Khan, and is a referee from Pakistan.
Malaysia versus Singapore. So it's going to be a causeway showdown.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Singapore also making it to the men's team final. Singapore beat Philippines 2-1 in the women's team final, with Malaysia beating Indonesia 2-0 to book their spot against their causeway rivals. It's looking like it's going to be Sneha, Sivakumar, Pamela Chua and Mao ShiHui representing Singapore. And for Malaysia, Aifa, Azman, Andrea Lee and Ooi Kah Yan. As we wait now for the athletes to come out, a little bit later it'll be the men's team final as well. It's going to be Singapore going up against the Philippines. That should be an exciting one. The Philippines booked their spot after they beat Malaysia 2-0. Malaysia had fielded an unusually young team. As we take a look at the matchups here for the women's team final, Ooi Kah Yan going to be going up against Pamela Chua. That'll be the first match. Andrea Lee going up against Mao ShiHui. And finally, if called upon, Aifa, Azman and Sneha Sivakumar will be the third match. Of course, it is best of 3, so if
on the court, please, from Malaysia, Ooi Kah Yan, and from Singapore, Pamela Chua.
one of the teams does beat them in 2 straight matches, then it will go the way of that team, and there will not be need unnecessary for the third match as the players come out to warm up now. On the right there you see the Malaysian Ooi Kah Yan, and on the left Pamela Chua, the 27-year-old. Crowds out in full force at the moment here. And what is the penultimate day of competition? Tomorrow we wrap up all the sports and we close out with the closing ceremony. The Singaporean, 27 years old, the right hand up. Pamela had beaten Isabel Gutuako in the round leading up to this. She beat her 11-3, 11-8, 11-3. She romped to victory to book her place in the finals here for Singapore. There we see the Malaysian players. Rachel Arnold down at the front there. She played yesterday. She had lost out to her countrywoman, should I say, Siva Sangari in the gold medal match. Seeing those little short shots at the forecourt. And if you can nail those shots, they end up being match winners. We saw that as the case yesterday for Siva Sangari in the women's singles finals. Malaysia, of course, doing exceptionally well historically in this sport. They have a number of players in the top 20. Of course, including Nicole David, Delia Arnold, two of them doing exceptionally well in the women's competition worldwide. So far, Malaysia have a very good showing at these games. Over 100 gold medals to their name at the moment. 114 at last count. They'll be hoping to add another at the end of this team final. Singapore still sitting in fourth after Thailand and Vietnam, respectively. We have surpassed 50 gold medals now, which is our best away showing. And so this is the second best showing for our gold medal tally, whether home or away. Singapore doing so well at these games. A lot of the athletes who have already concluded their competition will already be taking time out, reassessing their performances and seeing what they can do to improve and get ready for the next edition of the Games to be held in the Philippines in 2019. 2019 sounds such a long way away, but we're just a couple of years away.
Time.
And it will fly by, trust you me. The rest of the team on the bench there in the bandana at the top. Sneha, who will be called upon potentially in the third round of this team event. Squash is an exceptionally demanding game. Oh, look at that. A little bit of love from the teammates. She gets a massage and a pep talk. Not a bad way to start your game. The Malaysians looking quite confident at this point in time. They had hoped to sweep 7 golds from the squash tournament, but it's not to be. Singapore claimed the men's and women's jumbo events, and seeing as how Malaysia is not featured in the men's team final after they lost to the Philippines, it's Singapore who will be going up against the Philippines.
Pamela, Singapore to receive.
Here we go.
Best of 5 games.
It's Pamela of Singapore against Ooi Kah Yan of Malaysia. Both players warming up on the court, and it's Singapore that takes that first point.
1 love. Down. Singapore, your ball was down. And out. 1-all. Stroke to Singapore. And out 2-1.
Another stroke down. Two piece now. As the Malaysian serves, lovely high ball. Kah Yan's current ranking, 99th in the world. Hailing from Seremban. She's done quite well, but hasn't won any tournaments in the past year. Although she has reached the quarters and semis of a number at the Malaysian tour.
And now 3-all.
Point for point between these two players at the moment as they try and assert dominance. Neither one really standing out just yet.
Thank you. 4-3. Stroke to Singapore. 5-3. Decision, please. Yes, left. 5-3 from the right.
Stays at 5-3. Lovely ball down the side wall there. You can see why they call it a rail shot, because it just looks like tracks when it goes so close to that wall in a straight line. Oh, wasn't quite able to make that ball despite that lunge. You can see expertly delivered by the Malaysian. Singapore with just as good a response. Nice attempt there from Singapore to change the tempo of play.
And out.
The women's team event was won by Malaysia in 2015. Singapore got bronze in that edition.
6-all.
But none of the team that won it in 2015 is here. Oh, lovely little shot there from the Singaporean.
And out 7-6.
That's what I was talking about earlier on, practicing those soft balls up front.
And out 7-all.
Look at that shot, nice and soft and straight back into the side wall, out of reach of Kah Yan. And down.
9-7.
Singapore taking a 2 2-point lead now.
Yes, led 9-7.
Kah Yan
Stroke to Singapore.
is just 16 years old. So there's 11 years that separates the two of these players. Will experience or youth prevail in this case? Well, Malaysia has a number of young players, and they seem to have the speed and pace to do and play balls like that. In this Malaysian team, there is nobody over the age of 18 here.
No net. 9-10, game ball.
Aifa Azman, 15 years old. Andrea Lee, 18 years old. She's the oldest of the squad. Ooi Kah Yan, 16 years old. Lee, who had played against Indonesia, she's just 17 years old. The Sabahan, not looking to play here today.
Yes, left.
So 10 points each, and it's tense, if you pardon the pun. Oh, down ball for Singapore to take the lead.
11-10, game ball.
Oh, no, the ball was called in, so
Yes, led 11-10, game ball.
Malaysians with the lead now.
Game for Singapore. Singapore leads 1 game to love.
And so we've come to the end of the first game here between Singapore and Malaysia. We saw some lovely shots from the Singaporean, especially just at the forecourt. She's looking a little bit tired. It's looking like youth might prevail. It was point for point on so many occasions there, and the Malaysians just managing to edge out Pamela. You see Pamela getting a little bit of a pep talk there. Trying to see how she can get back on her feet. She's on the back foot now. Pamela will need to make sure she keeps her head in the game. Kah Yan with the upper hand now.
Singapore leads 1 game to love. Love all.
Good start for the Malaysian.
1 love. Yes, led 1 love.
She'll reserve after that let. Nice soft shot there, forcing the Malaysian to hit it hard. Another one, another soft shot, and
Please. Yes, left. One love.
point will be reserved again. Good point there for the Malaysian. The ball just dropping into the neck and dying. Good comeback.
1-2.
Lovely lob over the back of Kah Yan's head there. I love it when the ball just dips down, drops into the neck and dies completely. Loses all its momentum. There's no coming back from that.
Yes, left. 2-all. Left. Left.
Such ease and grace that they're able to attack these balls.
No
Call
left.
for another let, but it's not going to happen.
And out 3-2. And out 3-4.
Oh, ball just a little too high there.
And out 5-3.
Again, Kah Yan just able to find little pockets to really drop the ball into the neck, and you see it there as it just dies in the corner, and Pamela not able to get to it.
7-3.
Pamela unraveling at the moment. She tried to go for the lob, but it didn't quite work, so it went too high and out. Kah Yan with a 5-point lead. And she'll make it 6 with that error. A lot of it is also psychological, especially when you're playing in the team events. If your team is on the back foot,
Stroke to Singapore. And out.
it makes it very hard to come back because you only have one other chance. And it places a lot of stress and pressure on your teammates, because especially that second layer, because they cannot drop another match. This is game ball. If Pamela gives this one away, it's going to be very hard for her to get back. Oh.
11-4 with Malaysia, 1 game off.
So a successful outing so far for the young Malaysian Ooi Kah Yan, who has outplayed Pamela Chua. In the first game, it looks like they were almost even, point for point almost. But in this game, Pamela seems to just not quite be there, with Ooi Kah Yan able to carve out a 7-point lead. Look at her flexing and getting ready. You can see it was just a lot of strength and mobility, enabling her to reach some of the furthest balls. All she has to do is keep playing the same way. She's done a great job so far. When you think of it, she's just 16 years old. Her career is just beginning. She's petite. She's only standing at 147 centimeters. Her best ever ranking was 94. That came in June this year. She's dropped a little. She's at 99 now. But she's done exceptionally well despite her young years. She quite often reaches the semi-finals and quarter-finals of events on the PSA Tour. Oh.
No left. And 1-all.
That's the thing with squash. You really do have to make the effort to try and get around your opponent. They also have to do due diligence to maneuver their way as far as possible.
2-1. And 2-all.
Just going to ask for a lap.
Yes, led.
There we go.
2-all.
She'll replay that serve. It's almost heartbreaking sometimes when you have to replay a point, especially when you think you're on the upper hand.
And out 3-2.
Oh, lovely ball there from the Singaporean. Just managing to sneak it in there.
Yes, left. 3-all.
That is the third time now that she has collided into Kah Yan. Lovely volley. Slicing it into that corner there.
4-3.
Seems like Pamela's finding her feet.
Up. And 4-all.
She seems a lot more aggressive in this game. Oh, lovely.
And up 5-4.
Just look at the way that ball goes straight down into the corner. Could this be Singapore's chance to get back into contention here?
So Singapore. Left box 6-4.
Nice, Pamela's getting a bit of pace. Good speed there on that shot. Oh, that volley forcing Kah Yan to drop the ball down. And now it looks like
Eight, 4.
Here we go again. This is the first time that Singapore is leading by such a big margin.
Yes, left. 8-4. Left box.
Singapore with the first game ball opportunity as she wraps it out. Here we go, finally. Singapore pulling it together. 11-4, so that was the reverse score of what we saw. That scoreboard just a little off. Okay, so the players come back onto court now. Malaysia leading 2 games to 1 after winning it 12-10, 11-4 in those first 2, and then Singapore grabbing the third 11-4, which is why we're back in here for a 4th game. Will it run to 5? If this lady right here can hold it together, then the answer is yes. Here we go. Game 4. And it's Singapore off to a good start. We've seen more of those beautiful soft shots from Pamela that have resulted in her getting so many of those points.
2-love.
So now it seems like
2-love.
we've got a role reversal. Pamela now in a much more comfortable position.
And out. 1-2.
The Malaysian looking a little bit rattled. If Malaysia win this team event,
And out. 3-1.
it'll be their 6th gold for squash.
And out. 2-3.
Kah Yan to serve. Pamela with a bit more height on Kah Yan, so she's able to reach up and volley a couple of the higher shots that Kah Yan has tried to send her way. Shots that Kah Yan herself wouldn't be able to take.
3-all.
And it's out. Kah Yan has squandered her lead. Pamela has squandered her lead, and now it's Kah Yan that takes over.
Wow. 5-3. And out. 4-5.
So much power, but just
5-all.
a little too low as Singapore draws even. That is
No let.
the 6th time that she has collided.
You had enough room to go and play that ball. Ball was high. And out. 6-5.
And the 3rd time that there's been no let.
Yes, that. 6-5.
And again, we're starting to see the chinks in Pamela's armour as she's starting to look a little unsettled. She's lost that cool composure that we saw in the 3rd game,
Singapore. And out.
but she
6-7.
will need to bring it back together. She needs to find her motivational glue so that she can stick it.
Yes, net. 6-7.
Oh dear, Singapore really falling apart here. She just watched that ball go into the corner and couldn't do anything about it. Lovely lunge. Made to work hard, and they're calling for a let.
Asking for a let. Decision, please. The decision to pick up. Pick up good. Nine. 9-6 from the left. Carry on, please.
So
9-6.
9-6 to the Malaysian. She is 2 points within sealing out this match. Make that 1 point now. Singapore will feel that they were robbed of that point when it was a successful appeal. Pamela has her work cut out for her.
And 7-10 game ball.
She's got it. She's got it in her. Whether she can hold it out. 11-7, which means Malaysia seal it out. So many collisions like that resulted in Pamela losing it. But she'll have the opportunity to keep it together. Here we go. The fifth and final opportunity.
Two games on. Malaysia to serve. Love all.
Warming up the ball as we go in for the last opportunity. Which way is it going to go? Malaysia or Singapore? Like I said earlier, this will count for morale. Both of them wanting to play their hearts out.
Score for Malaysia. 1-love.
And it's Ooi Kah Yan with the first point.
And 1-all.
There aren't many Singaporean supporters, but they sure are loud. It's hard to equal the noise of the Malaysians when they roar. Such is the advantage of being the host country. Lovely ball from the Singaporean. You can see the power that goes into these balls when they're able to go all the way from forecourt to the back of the court and hitting the back wall. As Pamela
3-2.
steps up. There you see Mao ShiHui getting ready. Whacking the tin down and out. Oh,
Yes, that.
that turn, but Pamela just getting in the way. We're playing the point. Flinging the ball over to Singapore. You could just see the ball going straight down into the neck.
Stroke to Singapore.
A clear obstruction there from Ooi Kah Yan. So it's 7 points now
7-3.
for Singapore, and you can see the Malaysian players looking a little bit worried. The weight is on the women's shoulders at the moment to take home the gold medal.
4-7.
With a lot of disappointment that the men weren't able to advance to the finals. So there is a heavy weight. Pamela just not able to move around. Ooi Kah Yan just doesn't quite have the pace.
Serve was good.
Pamela saying the serve
6-7.
was out, but the ref saying no, it was good, and so play resumes. 7-6 now. And that ball is out. Malaysia drawing level now with Singapore, 7 apiece.
Decision on hitting. No let on that.
Kah Yan saying that she hit Pamela. And the judge is saying no let.
And out. 8-7.
Oh, look at that lovely ball going off all three walls. Great recovery from Pamela. We're waiting for a soft ball. Kah Yan scoring even. We were just waiting for that soft ball. If Pamela could have just delivered that soft ball, I think she would have had Kah Yan in that point. Kah Yan getting frustrated, and Pamela looking tired. Understandably so. This is a very athletic sport requiring the players to be running around for up to an hour. We're at about the 47-minute mark at the moment. That's a long time to be running around a court and exerting that much force with every stroke. The endurance and stamina required here. Really quite unbelievable. Oh. Reaching for that ball and just missing.
9-all.
Pamela just doesn't quite have the same depth in her lunge that Kah Yan does. Another collision.
Yes, that 9-all. There was place to play that ball. Yeah, you could have.
Here we go. 9 apiece. Pamela inching ever closer towards closing out this match. All she needs is one more point.
Then 9, right ball. To Singapore. 11-9.
And there we go.
Singapore win.
A brilliant match there for Pamela, who was able to bring it back.
12-10. 4-11. 11-4.
3-2 then the final result between this Singapore Malaysia team final in the first match between Pamela Chua of Singapore and Ooi Kah Yan of Malaysia. And you could see the team so happy, because it really does matter. It really does count if you are able to get that first match in the bag. It takes a load off their shoulders, and it'll take a load off Mao ShiHui's shoulders, who will be looking for a win in her match. But the young 16-year-old not quite able to beat the experience that Pamela brought on court. And you could see, just as the points were being racked up against her, She was just losing her composure a little bit. But you got to give it to her. With a brilliant lunge, she was able to retrieve quite a lot of those shots that Pamela threw at her in the corners.
Coming up with the
Nice deep and low. And that sort of collision happened quite a lot in this match. As we now wait for the next match, which will take place between Mao ShiHui and Andrea Lee of Malaysia.
Our central referee for this match is Tahir Kamzada.
That was a constant problem,
from Pakistan.
and it resulted in the final point being awarded to
Our
Singapore.
right referee is Edgar Beliber, national referee from the Philippines.
So there we go. We
And
have
our left referee is Nick
the first fixture done and dusted, with Singapore winning that first match. Up next, it's Andrea Lee going up against Mao ShiHui. And then finally, if necessary, Sneha Sivakumar of Singapore going up against Aifa Azman. Stay with us, that next match is coming up real soon here on the penultimate day of the 29th Southeast Asian Games, coming to you from Kuala Lumpur.
This match will be between Andrea Lee of Malaysia taking on Mao ShiHui of Singapore. Could we have the players on court for the warm-up? Once again, I'd like to announce that this match will be between Andrea Lee of Malaysia taking on Mao ShiHui of Singapore. Could we have the players on court for the warm-up? Thank you.
A nice bit of sportsmanship to start us off for this second match here in the finals of the women's team event. This is the second match taking place between Malaysia and Singapore. Just on the left of your screens there, Andrea Lee, 18 years old. She's from Kuala Lumpur. She's already won the doubles gold here. She was also a winner at the Hong Kong Challenge Cup that took place in 2016. Mao ShiHui, also a gold medalist here at the SEA Games already, but in the women's jumbo doubles, 25 years old. The Singapore squad, a lot older than the Malaysian squad. ShiHui is 25, Pamela, who just played, 27. The youngest in the team, Sneha Sivakumar, 16 years old. That's nothing on Malaysia's team. Andrea Lee, 18 years old. Ooi Kah Yan, who we saw just now, 16 years old. And Aifa Azman, 15 years old. But what they lack in numbers of years on this planet, they make up for with experience on the court. The Malaysian squad strong and hunting for gold. But it's Singapore who has the upper hand here after they won the first match between Pamela Chua and Ooi Kah Yan. 12-10, 4-11, 11-4, 7-11, 11-9 is how that one played out. A change of referees. The players will complete their warm-up. We'll have a few more minutes on court. As you can see, the crowds have come out in full force here.
Time.
A very disappointed young lady there who lost that first match. Ooi Kah Yan has a lot to be proud of, though. She had done very well in being part of the team that eventually brought Malaysia to this finals. But sadly, such as sports, there has to be a loser if there is to be a winner. The players will exit court for the final time before we get this second match underway. Final bits of prep. A lot of weight on this young lady's shoulders too. No stranger to gold medals. She is expected to do well here. Mao ShiHui. Coming from a family of squash players, as is usually the case when you play sports. If you have siblings or parents that play, it's only natural that you would want to take up the sport as well. And that has happened here in the case of the Singapore player as well. And so the duty falls to this lady here. If this Singaporean wins, it's a gold medal for Singapore.
Number 2017 women's event final.
But if that lady in the black wins, then Malaysia are still in for a chance, and we will play it through to 3 matches.
Singapore's Mao ShiHui to serve. Malaysia's Andrea Lee JQ to receive. Best of 5 games. Lowell. Stroke to Singapore.
Clear obstruction there, which gets Singapore the first point. That quickly followed up with a point for Malaysia.
Head up. 1-all. Yes, left. 1-all.
Replaying the point. Some long and powerful strokes from the Singaporean. Ones that will get her points like that.
And out 2-1.
Look at the speed in which she just snaps that arm. She's also got a very nimble frame, so she's able to maneuver around quickly on court. And she does follow each of those balls quite closely.
And out 2-all.
Oh, lovely little, lovely backhand ball there.
And out 3-2.
Down and smacked on the tin, and she looks a little bit frustrated with that. She could have done without losing out on that point. So it's point for point now. She has a great snap on her swing.
Yes, left. 3-all.
And a great point for the Singaporean there to take the lead.
And out. Follow.
She tried. She did try, but she just couldn't get to the ball in time for that point.
5-4. Down. And out. 5 all. And out. 6-5. Down. 7-5.
Careless mistakes that Singapore will want to avoid. Oh, look at that soft ball.
8.
And ShiHui nowhere near it.
Down. 9-5. Ball. Decision. Ball. And now 6-9.
Successful appeal, and Singapore now with a chance to claw back.
Seven, 9.
ShiHui reducing that gap now.
8, 9.
Oh, look at that, straight down into the splits. That cannot be nice. Look at the way she tried to lunge for that. Going
10-8, gimbal.
straight open. And that is why you need to warm up. Game ball now in the hands of Malaysia. And delivered
11-8.
by ShiHui
To Malaysia,
with that fault.
Malaysia leads 1-up.
It was a very tight game between these two players. Point for point all the way until the 6th point. Malaysia then able to just create a little bit of a gap. And that was the tale of that first game. The Malaysian crowd's very happy with that though. It was Malaysia that had the first serve, but the first point went the way of Singapore. And you could see just how much ShiHui was having to exert with those splits, trying to retrieve that ball. It hasn't been an easy first game. Of course, a lot of expectation on Andrea Lee. After Ooi Kah Yan lost that first match, the Malaysian, Lee will need to do everything in her power to make sure that she doesn't drop this next one to Singapore.
Fifteen seconds.
So warming up the ball and getting it ready. And the hollow rubber ball. And getting enough heat in it so it will bounce just that little bit faster.
Malaysia leads 1 love. Lowell. Yes, left.
Goes for a let.
Lowell.
We'll replay from the beginning again. Down and out. Look at the look of frustration on her face.
1 love. And out. 1 all.
An exceptionally soft ball there. Giving the serve to Singapore. ShiHui not quite as good at hugging the wall with those shots, but she is much better at those softer shots in the forecourt.
2-1.
But it means she misses out a little bit, because we have seen Andrea struggle a little bit with retrieving those very tight balls to the wall.
Down. 3-1. And out.
That was a brilliant point from the Singaporean.
Two, three. And out. 4-2. And out. 3-4.
ShiHui with her arm taped up there. Although the tape's starting to peel a little bit. Providing support on the arm that we've seen so many powerful smashes from.
Stop to Malaysia. And out. 5-3.
ShiHui needing to refocus her shots a little more. A 3-point margin, or any margin for that matter, can be deadly in the hands of a Malaysian. And she is just delivering more points their way.
7-3. And out. 4-7. you.
She wasn't going to be able to retrieve that one.
And now 8-4.
And so Andrea has taken a solid lead now, 4 points ahead of Mao ShiHui, who's doing everything she can.
Out. And now 5-8.
A brilliant run in front of Andrea. Great point there for the Singaporean, closing the gap now to just 2. Not an impossible ask. It is possible that ShiHui could get this back in her control. Another full split there from ShiHui. It's lucky she's flexible.
Services, please.
Look at the way she reached for that ball. Question is, if she had managed to retrieve that ball, would she have been able to get up in time to retrieve the next? We just have court service to sweep up the sweat.
Thank you.
That was no doubt left from that giant split.
And out. 9-6.
Malaysia 2 points from taking this game.
Now
Now just 1 point. A little too quick on the return there.
Gimbal.
Did you see the way she dodged that ball? Because she knew if she didn't, she would have delivered yet another point into the hands of the Malaysians, which at this point she doesn't need to do, but she's done by throwing the ball down.
To Malaysia.
And it's Malaysia with another game under their belt. It was well fought at the start of that game, but Malaysia staking their dominance. Andrea Lee, currently ranked 103 in the world rankings, and able to exert prowess over Mao ShiHui. 7 years separate them, but you wouldn't see it on court, with maturity displayed from both sides. You could see just with her shots, very precise, going exactly where she wanted them. And she was able to send ShiHui flying like that. Just with her cheeky little tongue out there, she knows that she is definitely on the front foot. Of course, there is a lot of expectation weighing heavy on this young lady at the moment. Malaysia dropping that first match to Singapore. But Mao ShiHui doing everything that she can to keep Singapore and some skin in the game. These fans are on the hunt for gold. Silver just won't do, and they're demanding it of this young lady. Rising together with Rimao, the official 29th SEA Games mascot. Bangkit Bersama is the Malay translation of rising together. And that's what
15 seconds.
everybody has done here by reaching the finals. It's been a good showing so far from the Singapore side. Going again, up against the host, it's never going to be an easy ask, but they're making a good job of it so far. Game 3 coming your way.
Malaysia leads 2-0. Lower.
Here we go. Singapore missing the first point, and it's Malaysia who gets an edge.
Stroke to Malaysia. Two love.
Ball served down by Andrea.
2.
Very high balls there with that lob from the Malaysian. Another lob. Oh. Andrea not able to get to the ball in time with that shot. Choosing to run in front of ShiHui. And not quick enough. Another lovely lunge there from ShiHui. Soft ball, and it forces Andrea to go low.
On the left. 3, 2.
Down, but not out.
3-all.
ShiHui desperate to get out of the way there. ShiHui so far doing well to retrieve each of these balls. You can see just bit by bit now as Andrea is dominating that center tee.
Down. 5-3. Yes, flag. Sufficient to play. 5-3. Six, 3.
ShiHui cannot let Andrea run away with this.
7-3.
Andrea with 4 points to go before she closes out this match.
Without 4-7.
Oh, lovely return there from ShiHui. But on the second, she just didn't have what it took.
8-4.
Very high ball as it lobs over the back. Whenever Andrea looks up, she has this slight perplexed look. ShiHui looking as if she is tiring a little. Lovely lunge, but
Stop to Malaysia.
because she got in the way, that point goes the way of Malaysia.
Head out. 9-5.
Such a long rally as well. No one wants to be the one that drops it. But just with that lunge, she wasn't able to get up quick enough, which brings Malaysia to game ball and match ball. Can ShiHui fight for it? She can. Extending Singapore's play. She will need to fight back.
Correction. 6-10 match ball.
And there is a way to fight. But she would need 6 points in order to win. It's a bit of a hard ask. But then it resets, and there we go. Twice now, ShiHui has gone down in the splits to try and receive and retrieve that ball, and twice she has failed. As Malaysia close out that match, 11-8, 11-6, 11-6. Making it 3-0. And Malaysia now going square, and the pressure rests on Sneha Sivakumar and Aifa Azman to bring home the gold medal for Singapore and Malaysia respectively. Just the way she went down for that ball, you've got to give her props for just trying her best. I mean, she went straight down, no hesitation there. But it's this young lady that closes it out, 3-0. ShiHui will need to definitely stretch it out after that incredible fight that she put up. Oh, there you saw another split. The Malaysian, wise beyond her playing years, showing a lot of maturity on court and sending ShiHui flying all over the place to retrieve balls in the extremities of the court. She did so well and managed to retrieve those hard balls because, trust me, ShiHui was really laying it out. But ShiHui was just no match for Andrea, who closed out the game. So it comes down to the third and final match. Aifa Azman, Sneha Sivakumar.
And our left referee is Muhammad Kamal, and that's the referee from Indonesia.
There you go. Look at the elation on her face. She had so much resting on her shoulders. Her signature bandana wrapped around her head.
And from Singapore, Sneha Sivakumar.
This is the final match between Singapore and Malaysia in the squash competition. And we will see how it goes. Going for a change ball. In tears because she knows that Malaysia are still in with a chance. And I think she feels exceptionally grateful to Andrea, but also disappointed in herself that she let her country down.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And we see some fierce, hard-hitting balls courtesy of this young lady here. She is the youngest of the squad at just 15 years old, hailing from Kedah. She won the Asian Junior Under-15 Championships in 2016, as well as the British Junior Under-15 Open in the same year. So she is definitely one to watch from Malaysia. And I think that's the beautiful thing about squash. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. It's a great sport that is open to athletes of all ages. The main important thing is that you have the flexibility, the mobility, and the strength in your arm. Just behind, you see Waffles Rule. He is a big squash fan, having supported the team at St Andrews for a very long time now. And the Malaysian fans are hungry for gold. Our officials for this women's team final, the final match, Anthony So, Samuel Chan and Muhammad Kamal. So this is the last opportunity for Malaysia to clinch a gold in the squash competition. Singapore still to play in the men's team final as well. Sneha has done so well in this competition already. She got a joint bronze in the women's singles and the women's doubles. Although going up against Malaysia, she hasn't quite had the same sort of pace and confidence. She lost 3-0 to Rachel May Arnold. of Malaysia in the singles semi-final, which allowed her to get the bronze medal. She lost it 11-6, 11-5, 11-6. But she'll be looking to do 2 better and clinch another gold for Singapore here in the women's team final. And so with the final pep talks done for Sneha of Singapore, we stand by to witness the 3rd match of the Singapore-Malaysia showdown as they compete for the gold medal in the women's squash team final.
Azman of Malaysia to receive. Best of 5 games, level.
Sneha to serve after she won the racket spin, tripping over Aifa, but managing to stay steady on her feet.
Stroke to Singapore. 1-0.
Singapore with the first point of this game. Down ball, but such force coming from this young lady.
2 love.
Another one to watch. It will be 2 more years before we see these squash starlets in action at the SEA Games, but we'll be able to keep a keen eye out for them in the rest of the championships.
Down.
Returns there from
Hand out.
Sneha, but
1-2.
not able to get it back to the front wall.
Two all. Three, two.
Come on, Sneha.
Down. And out. 3 all.
Lovely slow ball there.
4-3.
Cheeky and into the corner, sealing the deal for the Malaysian. Seeing a lot less dominance in the women's game on the tee. In the men's game, you tend to see them
Down.
really sticking to the centre.
5-3.
Almost like they've perpetually got one foot on the tee, but with the women they tend to have to travel a little bit more, especially these two young ladies who are of a slighter frame, not quite as tall.
Yes, left. 5-3. Left box, please.
Aifa standing at 5'3", so 1.6 meters tall. It really does come down to this match. It's one apiece now.
Yes, left. 6-3.
Singapore winning the first match, Malaysia with the second. So it's all been reset, and we now wait for these two young ladies. Lovely slow ball there.
And out. Four, 6. Not up. And out. 7-4.
Aifa is making quick work of this.
Down.
Now leading
9-4.
by 5 points. All Aifa needs is 2 more to close out this game.
Decision, please. No light.
She did ask nicely though, she said please,
4. Game ball.
but it's game ball now. Lovely volley there from Sneha, who is determined not to let it go, but she's not quite able to get to that ball. 4-11. And it's Malaysia who have the lead now in this final match. It was close in the early stages of this first game, but this young lady here is a force to be reckoned with on court. If you take a look at the way she pulls back and just whips her hand forward, It is incredible to watch her play. You could see it. Look at the speed and the pace that she has on that ball. Sneha too, however, you could just see it. Sneha's positioning really good, but that ball, which ended it all in the first game here between Sneha Sivakumar and Aifa Azman. She looks ready to get the job done. Both of them donning the protective eyewear. To keep their eyes safe, because you do not want one of those balls flying towards your face. And balls are able to hit top speeds of 243 kilometers per hour. That's the fastest recorded squash serve in a singles match.
Stroke to Malaysia.
A strong start for the Malaysian. Sneha determined to fight back. Oh.
Yes, let.
Calling for a let and she gets it.
1-love. Stroke to Malaysia. 2-love.
Such is the power of Aifa's stroke. And she's able to bounce it off the back wall and make sure that it reaches that front wall. A brilliant shot to
Left box, please.
throw off. The Singaporean. Lovely slow ball, resulting
1-3.
in Singapore's first point.
Down. And out.
Disappointing. Nice try though. You could see what she was attempting to do. Just changing the pace of the game with that slow ball into the corner. Way out of reach of the Malaysian.
5-1.
But there is a quiet confidence from Aifa. And I'm going to say it. She's going to be the one to beat. Sneha on the back foot here.
And out. 2-5.
Very good point from the Singaporean. But Aifa doesn't look phased at all.
Oh. Stroke to Singapore. 3-5.
You've got to be so aware of your body, the ball, and your opponent in such a small space.
Stop. 6-3.
She was looking for the slow ball, but she didn't get it. And she missed that one. Gave a point to Malaysia.
Decision please, no let. 7-3, left box please. Yes, let. 7-3.
Nice slow ball there from the Singaporean to try and chip away at the lead that Malaysia has carved out for themselves at the moment.
4-7.
These two young ladies have a lot to give. And they're going all out at the moment with a let. At the moment, just
Ladies,
Sneha
I want to
getting
see
in
more
the way.
effort to play the ball and to clear. Not up. 8-4.
Well positioned, just in that corner, putting Aifa within 2 points of game ball. Aifa has Sneha running around the court at the moment.
5-9.
Down ball, you can hear it hitting the tin.
The ball's good. Serve is good. 6-9.
She claimed the ball was out. The referees determined it was in. Well, a soft ball.
Yes, lad.
And Sneha claiming
She could go to the ball, and that's interference. Yes, lad. 6-9. Not up. And now 10-6. Game ball.
both parties frustrated by some of the calls here at the moment. But it's game ball and Sneha.
Decision please. Yes, lad.
Aifa thought she could have gotten to the ball. Sneha saying, nope, not at all. So we'll reserve for game ball.
Down 11-6 into Malaysia. Malaysia leads
And
2
it's
games to love.
Malaysia now leading 11-6 as Aifa wraps up this second game. That final point there, Sneha just not able to get her feet to keep up with the pace of her body and just tripping slightly. And that seemed to be the tail of it, constantly colliding into Aifa again. Aifa called for that ball out, but the judges said no and awarded the point to Singapore, but it wasn't enough for Singapore to get back in the game. 11-4, 11-6 to Malaysia now. Aifa Azman the Asian Junior Champion for under 15 category in 2016 and the British Junior Open in the under 15 category in 2016 as well. She is definitely asserting her dominance here against this young lady. Proud spectators looking on as they watch Malaysia potentially race to another gold. If Malaysia win this next game, they will have the gold medal.
Ladies, 2 games to love. Love all.
No, down ball, which gives Malaysia the upper hand going into this third game. It's going to be a mind game more than anything else for Sneha. She's got to tell herself that she has what it takes to claw it back for Singapore.
And out. 1-3.
All she needs is to keep playing balls like that, just going on the opposite end of the court. Aifa has a good knack of predicting just where the ball's going to go. But if she can put it out of her reach.
4-1. And out. 2-5.
Rachel looking on now. She will be wishing that she would be able to take home a gold medal. The Malaysians definitely on course for that gold in this event. It's a 4-point lead now for Malaysia. And again, Sneha not finding her way around.
6-2, right box. Pick up. Good.
She didn't think it would be a let. Sneha again
7-2.
sent sprawling to the far extremes of the court, but to no avail. Aifa with this uncanny ability to just get the ball dead on the floor. But Sneha not without her arsenal.
Not up. And out. 8-3.
Aifa looks set to wrap this one up. quick and painlessly.
No lag. And out. 4-8. And out.
Sneha not happy with that call.
9-4.
She insists that Aifa was in the way. Malaysia can almost touch and taste that gold medal.
Down. 10-4.
As we now approach match ball, which will give them the gold medal. Can Aifa do it nice and cleanly, or will Sneha hold off the onslaught of the Malaysians with this point? She is doing all she can, but she's blocked.
11-4.
And with that, it's the gold medal for Malaysia in the women's team final. She raises her racket to acknowledge all the fans and the hard work that they've put in, cheering their hearts out throughout the course of the competition, and Sneha will be disappointed with that performance. She had done so much better earlier on in the tournament. But this young lady there with the smile on her face knew that it was hers. And this was how the cookie crumbled for Singapore, because Sneha kept on colliding with her Malaysian counterpart. And so there you have it. Malaysia wrapping up the gold medal after winning it 2-3, 3-0, 3-0. It came down to this match between these two young ladies, and it fell on the 15-year-old from Kedah, and she did it in some style.
All right, thank you to all Malaysian supporters.
She closed out the match
You guys are awesome.
so cleanly against the Singaporean. 11-4, 11-6, 11-4 to win it in 3 straight games. Cool as a cucumber, she barely even broke a sweat. And you'll see time and time again the two of them just colliding on court. Usually when Sneha was trying to go for the ball, it was moments like that.
11-4.
And the points just went the way of Malaysia. So there you have it. After Ooi Kah Yan lost to Pamela Chua, giving Singapore the upper hand, it was Andrea Lee who got it back for Malaysia with a 3-0 win over Mao ShiHui. And Aifa Azman closed it out with a 3-0 win over Sneha Sivakumar to give Malaysia the gold medal, Singapore the silver. We'll now await the men's team final between Singapore and the Philippines. Looking at the two teams, it looks like Singapore stand a strong chance of walking away with the gold medal, but you cannot discount the Philippines, who managed to knock out Malaysia in 2 straight matches in the semi-finals. So anything can happen, and we're looking forward to a real cracker. That's up next. Stay with us here on Toggle. We're coming to you live from the National Squash Centre in Kuala Lumpur. This is the 29th SEA Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned with us for the next match for men's team event final. For men's final teams event, Singapore versus Philippines.